Absolutely. With most of your sun-grown wrappers, while looking at them in the light, you will see almost a sheen to them.
Yeah.
And that's going to be in part because there's oil in that wrapper that's going to reflect some light off.
And one of the good things about the Montefina area in Brazil, when they roll their wrappers, these particular leaves are not very veiny. With any type of tobacco leaf, you're going to have veins that run through the actual leaf itself. And this is very much free of veins. You're getting a lot of the actual leaf itself, which is what you want, because that's where the flavor comes from. So, do you guys choose the tobaccos yourselves, or do you have your people in the Dominican actually search them out for you?
It's going to be a two-pronged attack on that. Part of it will come from the knowledge that our rollers have when it comes to certain tobaccos, and the other part will be through the research my father, myself, Louis, and some of the other people who come and enjoy our cigars. When they find a certain leaf that they've read about, we will then turn and go to our people down in the Dominican and have them source it for us.
That's excellent. That's excellent. I have to say real quick, this is very tasty beer.
In case anybody's wondering, this is a locally brewed in Rochester stout, just released last week, called the Big Head Stout from Three Heads Brewing Company. Check them out. They do very good cervezas.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's delicious.
Yes.
I'm not normally a stout fan, but that's delicious. So thank you for giving me that.
Not a problem. It goes well with this cigar.
It does. Now, let's talk a little bit real quick about your rollers. Bonilla is somewhat of a celebrity on the island of Dominican, right?
Very much so. His full name would actually be Porfirio Amadeo Bonilla, but he goes by either Amadeo or Bonilla. But surprisingly enough, when you're down in the Dominican, if you tell them Amadeo Bonilla rolled your cigar, every single person who works in tobacco on the island would know Bonilla.
Now, just to give you some history on this guy and how good of a cigar roller and blender that he is, what are some of the other companies that he worked for?
Mr. Bonilla has actually been a master roller for Arturo Fuentes, for Davidoff, and for Fonseca while living down in the Dominican.
Those are three huge houses. And now he's rolling cigars for Santiago Cigar Factory. And let me tell you something, it's a great thing that you got.
With Mr. Bonilla in tow, our business is much easier. A roller, the skill level of Bonilla is unheard of in the United States because the factories don't like to let guys that skilled leave. Right now we carry between 15 and 20 blends, different blends in the humidor, and Mr. Bonilla knows the blend on each one and knows how to blend them by holding the tobaccos in his hand. He doesn't have to weigh anything out. He doesn't have to go through it and see if the blends are right. He's so knowledgeable, his blends are right every time.
And there's been times when I've been in here relaxing and enjoying the cigar, and in the couple hours that I may be here, I've seen him roll a couple hundred cigars.
Yes, depending on the size and the shape of the cigar,
yes,
which will determine how long the molds themselves have to stay in the press, that'll determine how quickly he can roll cigars. But if you take a standard size cigar, say a 50 ring gauge by 5 inches, in an 8-hour day, Mr. Bonilla will put out between 325 and 375 cigars, start to finish.
Which is incredible. Well, that's just amazing. Now, tell me about his nephew. I know his nephew does a lot of your rolling in the actual Dominican.
Yes.
Tell me some more about our listeners, some more about him.
Jorgito is trained through the same lineage that Mr. Bonilla was trained through. Being his nephew, they both learned from their grandfather the art of cigar rolling. And what that's done for us is it's allowed us to have consistency in our blends and our rolls from what we roll here in the shop and what gets rolled for us down in the Dominican. At the age of 13, Jorgito decided he wanted to be a cigar roller, so his family sent him away to school. And in this school, they didn't just teach him arithmetic, social sciences, and things of that nature. There was a heavy concentration on rolling. And when he finished school, they actually took him and sent him to another tobacco factory so that he wasn't working with family. So his skill level would have to stand up, and he does not disappoint.
Yeah, everything that I've smoked coming out of the factory is phenomenal, and I smoke a lot of cigars, and I will put these cigars made right here in Rochester, New York, or in the factory in the Dominican Republic. I would put these cigars up against just about anybody out there. This could go toe to toe with my favorite cigars not made here, which you may be surprised to hear because they spend so much time cultivating their tobaccos in the big houses that you would think the little guys couldn't compete.
It is a very tough business to be in if you don't have a gentleman like Jorgito on the island.
Yeah.
Having him down there and knowing that he 100% knows quality tobacco, he knows what's not good quality tobacco. A lot of places just wouldn't have the option of doing what we do because you wouldn't have the built-in safety net of having a person like Jorgito down there finding tobaccos. Any tobacco that any of the major rolling houses roll in, we could source.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
It can get expensive,
It can.
but we can source it.
Right.
And we can take care of it.
So now you need to understand, these cigars, the tobaccos that we buy, they're not cheap. We don't skimp on the tobaccos. We want to make sure that our customers are getting the absolute best product that they can. And so the one good thing about you guys is that you're not afraid to spend money on your tobacco.
No, quality is everything to us. We simply refuse to have a cigar leave our shop that somebody's not going to be satisfied with, and that's from the construction on down to each blade of tobacco that goes into our cigars.
And that's the way you got to run a business if you want to succeed. And right now, let's be honest, in this area of New York, and even up closer to the city, there's a ton of our tobacco out there.
We have basically taken Western New York by storm with our quality cigars. And the quality of our cigars has actually allowed us to start branching out into other states like Vermont, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Virginia. We allow people to sample our cigars knowing that they're going to pay for it because they're that good.
And that's quite a statement. I mean, the business has really expanded exponentially. It's phenomenal. You guys started in a little shop on State Street when you bought it from the previous owner.
Yeah.
You know, you moved across the street, and I would say that the moving into this location that we are now, pretty much the heart of the city, has really helped the business.
Yes, very much so. Where we are now sets us up to be able to maximize our quality product in an area of the city that people will come to purchase it. Our old locations, we grew there, but it was in spite of our location. Here, the location has actually been beneficial to the business.
Nice. Nothing wrong with that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first installment. This was the Brazilian Gordo. I believe everyone should try one of these. Like we said, we will mail them to you. So next week, on the second installment, what cigar you want to do next week?
Let's go with something on the milder side. We'll break down our House Connecticut blend.
Okay.
We'll show you how many different sizes we actually carry in that particular blend, which
Okay.
will make it different than this particular cigar.
Yeah, you only carry one size of this cigar.
As for right
60.
now, just a 60 by 6.
Right.
And that's really been the cigar that people have wanted.
Right.
In this blend, it's just so flavorful, we don't even really want to tweak it
Right.
to change the size on it.
Right.
Not that my roller couldn't,
Yes. Right.
we just don't want to right now.
So next week, for all you mild cigar lovers, we got a special treat. He loves the mild cigars,
That's my smoke of choice.
so we'll break that down for you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Luis Perez, Gary Leota Jr., Santiago Cigar Factory. This is Behind the Smoke Weekly.
Enjoy.